it's time for more Trident with the song Magic Potion of Love, which I believe is actually a cover. And if my kanji's right, that's actually Magic Potion of the Heart. Let's hope that I'm actually getting better at this. Anyway, look, I've got the information here from Trident's from their website in regards to Blue Dawn, the new album. And as I was saying when I did the reaction a little bit earlier today to Miracride, I am just so excited about this. But this is also a really interesting list of songs. We heard a live version of that first song at the show where they announced Blue Dawn. I am really excited to hear a recorded version of that because that was so cool. New Era, I'm looking forward to because it's an Osaka composed song. Miracride we just did, and that was like all of that Trident goodness that we love. But we know how this album's going to end. I'm really excited about Country Road because although I know obviously the song and I even know the Japanese version quite well, I'm just really hoping they do Country Road in the same way they did Nocturne. We get like some Chopin level craziness going on there. Trident have done a version of Country Road. I can't get my head around it. Anyway, this is the song between Miracride and Country Road that we're going to be doing today. It translates as Magic Potion of Love, although I'm pretty sure that's Magic Potion of the Heart. That's the heart kanji, right? That's not... Anyway, who cares? Maybe it's just the way you read it. Someone who's got a better brain than me, let me know. I am looking forward to checking this out, though. I am not familiar with the original artist or the original song. I would just assume this was a guest writer if it wasn't for the fact that at the show they mentioned about the fact that this was a cover song when they announced this song coming out. And of course, it is also a theme tune for this anime that they've rather fantastically done 2 songs for. So, oops, I accidentally have clicked away from what I wanted. Wait, no. All right, I've got to go all the way back around again now. Spotify, by the way, I'm listening to these on Spotify because they haven't come out yet on video. But yeah, can we just say Spotify is horrible to use, isn't it? It's just the interface is terrible. Anyway, here we go. We got it back. Yes. So we're going to be listening to Magic Potion of Love or of the Heart or whatever it is. It's a cover song. And so I'm excited. Now we've got that security of the first 3 songs being, well, I'm assuming New Era is going to be a banger. We'll find out. But considering it seems that this album starts off with a very strong Trident-esque focus, I am really excited to see what kind of madness we get from the first of 2 cover songs that end off this album. Anyway, let's jump in. Here it is. Trident covering a song I've never heard before. Let's go. Oh, it's old school. Ooh, like in the bass line. Oh, this is gonna be fun. I can already tell. This really reminds me of old school Japanese rock from like the 90s and the 80s. Yes, we got cool and answer lyrics. Okay. This is so old school, I love it. Did she sing Baby? Is this one of the... Oh yeah, oh wow, look at the lyrics. You know it's an old school song with the word baby comes up. Oh baby. You can hear Serena having fun back there on the bass as well. This walking down the... That's such a cool little... That's such a cool, like, pre-chorus. You know, this really suits Asaka's voice as well. Oh man, this is so much fun. This can predict where the baby comes in. That's how old school it is. Do you know what, the counter guitar work, and I don't know if it's the same in the original, but the guitar work on the left hand side, at least my headphones, I think I went right around, that left hand guitar work is so cool throughout this song. That was freaking awesome. I really enjoyed that. You know, so in a way I was kind of thinking it was going to be like an old school one. Do you remember there was this is like a really obscure reference if you're not super into Japanese music, but there was that phase where everyone was covering that song by BB Queens, which was like an anime song. And that one had a lot of covers going. And this kind of reminds me of that. It's kind of like this charming old school song, but still at the same time, it's not like, I don't mean that in like a derogatory way. It's actually got it's got a really nice focus again on the melody. A lot like with Miracle actually. I mean, these are both very melody heavy songs, but this much more in sort of a classic rock and roll way. But I really liked that, although this sounds much more raw, old school, I say rock, but kind of like old school pop rock, you know, rock, which is like an accessible form of it, accessible form of rock. Although it's got that feeling to it, there's also this really cool nuance, like the bass line, really interesting things happening in there. I love the counter guitar work that is coming in there that Asaka's putting in. And, you know, in fact, actually, what I'm going to do, I am going to quickly see if I can find the original, because that surprised me, actually, because in a way, I kind of figured, okay, it's probably going to be an old school song, but I did not really know what to expect from this. So I'm actually going to see if I can find the original. Give me 1 second. View. It's really hard to, by the way, if you ever want to copy paste anything off of Spotify, which is really hard to do, you have to go to the, you have to find the original, was it the credits for the artist? Anyway, let's see. Is it Rolly? Is Rolly the one who... Oh, yeah, because it said that because the name wait, hold up. We're getting there, people. This is good quality entertainment, because it says the name translates as Laurie, and Laurie is how you'd imagine Rolly. Yeah, Rory to translate. So this has got to be the original. All right, I wonder if I'm going to get... If suddenly the audio on this video goes quiet, it's because I got copyright blocked for this, because old school Japanese songs, you tend to get a lot of copyright blocks. So let's see. We'll just listen to a little bit to get a feel for it. Okay, there's piano in the background of this one. Let's move forward to the second verse of it. Everything about this is old school. So I know the name Rolly actually, but I'm not familiar with the music. Do you know what's really interesting actually though? So now listening to those two alongside each other, I can kind of feel what TRiDENT have added here. Like, so TRiDENT have definitely given a little bit more of that. They got that enthusiastic girls rock style vocal where, like in this one, the backing vocals kind of delivered a little bit kind of sarcastically and cool. But with the TRiDENT one, they're like shouting in the background, a little bit more hyped up. I think the TRiDENT version obviously lacks. Well, I can't hear like the piano bit in the background that this seems to have very quietly interlaced beneath it. But the guitar work on the left-hand side of the TRiDENT version seems to be a lot more involved. Oh, so there's a lot. That is some old school style production. But there's a lot of there's a lot going on there in regards to the keyboard, which I think is the main difference. That's really interesting, actually. Hearing that comparison is interesting. They haven't gone totally different. And, you know, Trident are one of those bands where usually they would use things like production, like keyboards and stuff in their music. They're fine with that, which I personally is one of the things I really respect about them. But then we compare that again. Let's get the Trident version back. You can hear how active that guitar is at the side. And how much bigger the backing vocals sound. In a weird way, the Trident version actually sounds a little bit more raw, which is kind of intriguing. Even though it sounds more modern and cleanly recorded, like a lot of the sounds they go for is guitar over keyboard, the backing vocals, there was that really weird production we just heard on the original. Now, without listening to the original all the way through, which I'll probably say for another time, I think that's an interesting way to do a cover. It's different enough that it feels like they've kind of refreshed it in their own way, but it's also quite a faithful cover. Nice. I really enjoyed that. So that was really cool. I'm really glad to hear Trident doing a song like this, because once again, even though this is a cover, and I do get that, you know, I'm not going to give them like massive credit for a cover song, but it's like one of those things where I feel like they are that kind. This kind of really speaks to the center of what I love about Trident, is that they're that kind of band who will do things that are a little bit different. You know, they have their core sound, they have their core thing we like about them. That very much came across in songs like Mirror Cried, but they do have this like sense of just fun. You know, this feeling like they'll do covers. They'll do something. This is why I said, like, on Ducks, like, the song that made me... I mean, Nocturne, obviously, when Nocturne came out, I was just so happy to hear that because it was just so beautiful. I didn't even think at the time it was going to be, like, the Chopin piece. But that just... I loved reacting to that because it was such a surprise and it was so beautifully done. But then on Ducks, like, one of my favourite songs was You, just because it was, like... so refreshing to hear them doing like a piano focused ballad. And like, I love this about Trident, is the fact they still are able to release things where you go, I feel creatively excited about that. And there's a lot, you know, if you've got a really good core sound, a lot of bands can just go, well, we got a sound, people like it, let's keep on churning that out. And respect, if you want to do that, that's fine. But I like to be excited when I hear a band's new release, not just because of the fact that I like their sound and they're going to give me more of their sound, but also because they're going to take some risks. You know, because sometimes a band takes a risk and you go, I don't know if that necessarily worked, you know. But for each time that happens, there's probably one or more times when you listen to it and you go, that was really interesting. And even if it's a song like this where you go, okay, that's probably not going to be like a core Trident song that I'm going to... It probably doesn't fit in perfectly alongside a lot of their usual music. It's definitely something that you're going to want to listen to at certain times in certain moods. You're going to have certain moods where you're going to want to hear something like this more than you're going to want to hear something like Cry Out or Spoopy. There's going to be moments where you're going to want something a little bit more chilled and happy, and you can go, yeah, Trident have a song for that too. Cover or not, it's just really nice when a band is that open and they're not stuck and pigeonholed and they can have fun doing things like this. So once again, for me, Trident absolutely stepping up and delivering something just nice and fun and awesome. It just makes you happy to be a fan. Yeah, that's one of the things that I can definitely say, is that when Trident release music, it makes me happy to be a fan. Hiding the match. Anyway, look, those are my opinions. As always, get in the comments to tell me what you think. Remember, we got a Discord. If you like to talk about the music that you like and you want to hear other people's opinions and like a really good conversation, our Discord's been going for years. That's linked in the description below as well. Really nice little tight-knit community. So please come and join it. We're always happy to have new people in there. So yeah, love to talk to you about music. Love to see your comments. Love to see you in the next video. And until I do, from here in Japan, for now, ciao, ciao.